December 19, 1944, Verdun, a freezing, smoke-filled room in a former French barracks. The air smells of wet wool, cigarette smoke, and fear. Eisenhower slams a fist on the table hard enough to make the coffee cups jump. Who the hell can attack north and open a corridor to Bastogne? I need a name, and I need a date. Dead silence. Montgomery stares at the map like it personally insulted him. Hodges rubs his temples. Every other general is doing mental arithmetic that all ends with the same answer: impossible. Then Patton leans forward, voice calm as Sunday morning. Mr. Supreme Commander, my 3rd Army can hit with 2 divisions, the day after tomorrow. 3 divisions, 72 hours from now. You could hear a pin drop on the stone floor. Someone actually laughs. A short, nervous bark, then pretends it was a cough. Eisenhower fixes him with that Kansas stare. George, this isn't a press conference. Those paratroopers are eating belt leather up there. If we promise relief and fail, we lose the whole goddamn war in one afternoon. Patton doesn't blink. Ike, the orders are already cut. My army started moving at dawn. I've been waiting for this party since the 9th. The room explodes in whispers. Waiting since the 9th. While the rest of us were writing Christmas menus. Let us go back 11 days and see exactly how one American general outthought every intelligence officer from London to Luxembourg. December 9, 1944. Nancy, France. A dim lamp burns in Patton's headquarters. Snow taps the windows like it wants in. Colonel Oscar Koch, everyone calls him Cooch, walks in with a stack of papers thick enough to stop a 50 cal round. He spreads maps across the desk, the way a surgeon lays out instruments. General, 15 German divisions have disappeared. Gone. Not on leave, not refitting. Gone. 6 of them are Panzer or Panzer Grenadier. That's more tanks than we faced in Normandy on D-Day. Patton doesn't look up from cleaning his ivory-handled revolvers. Where'd they go, Cooch? That's the fun part. They didn't go anywhere. They're still facing us, just invisible. Radio silence, fake traffic, whole units renamed. Classic Maskirovka. In every road trace, every fuel dump, every prisoner, we squeeze points to one place. Koch slaps the map. The Ardennes. Patton finally looks up. His eyes are ice blue and absolutely calm. Same place they came through in 1940. Same goddamn place everybody says is impassable in winter. Exactly, sir, which is why SHAEF thinks it's safe. For understrength American divisions holding a front that needs 12, if I were von Rundstedt, I'd hit there tomorrow. Patton holsters one pistol, starts on the other. How long we got? 10 days? Maybe 2 weeks. After that, the weather locks them in, same as us. Patton picks up the phone. Dials 12th Army Group. Bradley comes on the line. Omar, your boy Koch, says Jerry's about to throw everything he has left, straight through the Ardennes. I'm telling you now, so nobody says I didn't warn them. Bradley sighs the sigh of a man who has heard this song before. George SHAEF G2 says the Krauts are finished. They can't mount a corps attack, let alone an army. Enjoy your leave. Click. Patton hangs up, looks at Koch, and smiles the smile that has nothing to do with humor. Start planning. 3 full contingency plans. I want every road, every bridge, every gallon of gas accounted for. We are going to turn an entire army, 90 degrees in the middle of a goddamn offensive, and nobody outside this room is going to know until the shooting starts. For the next 10 days, 3rd Army lives a double life. By day, they hammer the Saar, taking towns, killing Germans, looking exactly like an army with its mind on Berlin. By night, staff officers in overcoats burn midnight oil over maps that have nothing to do with the Tsar. Trucks are quietly moved to side roads. Fuel bowsers lost from the Saar front reappear 100 miles west. Entire artillery battalions rehearse displacement drills in the dark. Division commanders think their army commander has finally cracked. Patton just tells them, be ready to break clean on 1 hour's notice. You'll know when. December 16th, 5:30 a.m., the world ends with a roar. German guns open up along 80 miles of front. Searchlights bounce off the clouds to create artificial moonlight. Panthers and tigers roll forward through snow that comes up to their hulls. American boys who thought they were spending a quiet winter wake up fighting for their lives. At SHAEF, panic. At 1st Army, stunned disbelief. At 3rd Army headquarters, business as usual. Patton walks into the war room, still chewing breakfast. Gentlemen, the dance has started. Execute Plan Nickel, Variant 3. And somebody wake up the bands. We're going to Bastogne, while the rest of the Allied command is still trying to find the Ardennes on the big map. 3rd Army is already moving. 133,000 vehicles. 250,000 men. An entire field army pirouetting in ice and darkness like a goddamn ballerinas. Picture it. Convoys snake along roads barely wider than a tank turret. Red guided taillights glowing through swirling snow. Drivers who haven't slept in 2 days chewing Benzedrine like candy. Engineers blowing frozen culverts at 3 a.m. so Shermans can pass. MPs with flashlights painted blue standing in intersections they scouted 11 nights earlier. And every man jack of them wondering the same thing. How the hell did old blood and guts know? December 22nd, dawn. The 4th Armored Division crashes into the German ring around Bastogne like an express train. Tanks slide sideways on ice. Fire on the move. Keep going. Infantry ride the decks, because marching would take too long. German 88s bark from frozen woods. American tankers answer with everything they have. Inside Bastogne, the 101st Airborne has been living on promises and bravado. Ammunition down to a handful of rounds per man. Rations gone 3 days ago. Doctors operating by flashlight. Then they hear it, faint at first, growing louder, the beautiful, obscene roar of American tanks. At 4:50 p.m. on December 26th, a Sherman named Cobra King smashes through the last roadblock outside Bastogne. First Lieutenant Charles Bogus stands in the turret, face black with powder, and yells the 4 sweetest words in the English language. Come on out, Airborne. Glider troops and paratroopers, bearded, frostbitten, half-starved, pour out of their holes cheering like it's New Year's Eve. A grizzled sergeant grabs Bogus, hugs him hard enough to crack ribs. Took you long enough, you armored bastards. Back at 3rd Army HQ, Patton takes the call, listens for 3 seconds, and hangs up. He looks at Koch across the map table, wherein Koch allows himself the smallest smile in the history of smiles. Told you so, sir. Patton lights a cigar, the flames shaking just a little. Yeah, Koch, you did. Later, captured German generals will admit over coffee and cigarettes that the single greatest shock of the entire offensive was not the weather, not American stubbornness, not even the Jabos, when the sky finally cleared. It was one American corps appearing out of a blizzard exactly where it could do the most damage. Exactly when it could do the most damage. Led by a son of a bitch who somehow knew their plans better than they did. Von Manteuffel will write, we allowed 6 days to reach the Meuse. Patton did not allow us 6 hours. And that, boys and girls, is how one colonel nobody remembers and one general everybody remembers turned the biggest intelligence failure of the war into the fastest operational redeployment in modern history. Because while the rest of the world was busy being surprised, George Patton was busy being ready. And in war, ready beats smart 9 times out of 10. The Bulge would grind on for another bloody month. 19,000 Americans would never come home. But the German last gamble failed, not because the Allies were lucky, because one American general refused to believe the war was almost over when the enemy still had 1 punch left. He listened to the one man shouting the truth in a room full of deaf ears. He planned when everyone else partied. He moved when everyone else froze. And on a frozen road south of Bastogne, a tank commander named Bogus shook hands with a paratrooper who had answered nuts to surrender, and the tide of the war turned one more time. Not with a bang, but with the quiet, methodical precision of an army that had rehearsed victory 11 days before disaster even knocked on the door. That's the real story of the Bulge. Not the surprise, the preparation. Everything else is just noise.